What I wanted to do is take an opportunity for Command Chief Kevin Peterson and I to provide you an update of what has happened in the last year at Ellsworth Air Force Base and where we see the base going forward over the next year. It was a year ago that I was lucky enough to take command from Colonel Wetherington, and I've been very excited and to be back in the Black Hills, and I've been very proud of the accomplishments of the wing over the last year. Last year, we have deployed a great number of our airmen across to the CENTCOM area of responsibility primarily. Right now we have over 550 airmen out deployed forward, primarily out in CENTCOM. With that, they're flying, the B-1 operations are flying, and over the last year, B-1s have flown from Ellsworth Air Force Base over 500 combat sorties. And they've done that at an incredibly high rate, and the maintenance officers and airmen that have gone forward, as well as our aviators, have done a tremendous job of making sure that we provide combat power over Afghanistan. On the other side of that, our MQ-9 Reaper operations have also been outstanding the past year. We just recently stood up our 5th Combat Air Patrol over the skies of Afghanistan, and we've flown over near 900 sorties last year out of our MQ-9 squadron. So it's been pretty impressive, and we've been doing that to provide the power, the combat power, the intelligence, the surveillance, the reconnaissance that we need in the battlefield over Afghanistan, so our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines that are still on the ground there and will be through this year get the support that they need. Back at home, we had some challenges last year. The primary challenge was the funding, but I was very happy with the way that the base handled that. Whether it was furlough, whether it was shutdown, whether it was aircraft stand down, we came through that pretty well. We had to sacrifice some of our advanced readiness. We had to sacrifice some of our proactive maintenance and sustainment around the base, but we were able to keep our core combat readiness there, and we were able to continue to go forward and meet our objectives downrange. As we go into this year, coming year, we'll talk about that in a minute, but I'm looking forward that we're going to be able to regain some of our readiness, although I'm not optimistic we're going to be able to regain all of our proactive maintenance and sustainment around the base. But as far as our ability to maximize the combat capability of our base, of our aircraft, and most importantly, our airmen, we were able to do that last year, and I was pretty excited about that. One of the things around the base I'm going to ask Kevin to talk to you now about is some of the quality of life initiatives that we've had around the base and what we were able to do last year to make sure that we could care for our airmen and also care for their families. And with an Expeditionary Air Force, which is what we do at Ellsworth, we provide expeditionary combat power. We go forward and we deploy forward. If we don't take care of the families when we're forward, if they're not cared for when we're back home, then we're not focused on the mission, and our combat readiness and our ability to employ downrange is degraded that way. So Kevin, if you want to come up and give a few words, thanks.
Hello, Kenny. Thank you. So I want to thank you all for giving us the opportunity as well. Over the past year, I believe Ellsworth has done a tremendous job at maintaining our quality of life initiatives. So during these times of physical constraints, what we've done is we've developed programs and cost-effective ways to maintain our quality of life. What I want to do is just give you a couple examples. But first off, I'm proud to say that Ellsworth has not diminished any of our quality of life initiatives. We haven't closed a lot of things that we could have, but we've managed to keep most of our quality of life right where it is. So first off, I want to talk about a $1.2 million renovation of our fitness center. And what we did there was we redid our lobby as you walk in. We took and made some family areas where families could go in with little children and do their physical fitness as well. Also, we redid the locker rooms, and so that kind of concludes what we did at the fitness center. We also spent $220,000 at the golf course on an irrigation system. Now that not only benefits the military, but also our civilian counterparts as well, because they can use the golf course as well as the military personnel. A couple other things we've done is we have an outdoor archery range now. We took from a 2-lane range and turned it into a 9-lane range. And from what we did there, we took about $9,000, a lot of self-help projects and a lot of volunteer work, and we reincorporated that. We put up new targets, and we increased the range that airmen could do. So that's an outdoor thing that they could do to improve their quality of life. Now, we are stationed here at South Dakota, and so we also had a volunteer program where 15 volunteers came together, and we did an indoor archery range as well. And it's the largest one in the Black Hills area right now. That was an all-volunteer program, and it gives us about a 35-yard range and also about 12 lanes in there for indoors during the winter months that they can go ahead and improve their quality of life there. We also have about a $5.7 million renovation of the DFAC, which is our dining facility, and we just gave that a complete facelift. With that also, we did about a $400,000 kiosk where we went out to the flight line, and what we did was we took the meals out to the flight line and allowed our maintainers to be on the flight line and not have to come back up on base. And so that was a quality of life that they just tremendously enjoyed. It keeps them closer to their jobs, and they can do the work that they need to do for us. So that was money well spent as well. Those are some of the quality of life programs that we've maintained here at Ellsworth. So next I'd like to turn over to some of the force management programs that are hitting the Air Force right now. A little bit of history first. Since 2009, the Air Force has maintained a huge quality of airmen. They just haven't been getting out. So what we're at right now is we have to reduce the force. So maintaining the goal of the force management program is to operate within our funding limits and then our end strength numbers that the government has given us. What we're doing there is we're going to focus on retaining the high quality airmen and keep them in the Air Force while reducing some areas or certain career fields or jobs in the Air Force to get those end strength numbers. So in December, the Air Force put out 18 force management programs, and those were announced, and those are affecting both officers and enlisted, so all the people in the Air Force. Here at Ellsworth, we're going to have a little over 1,000 people that qualify in those parameters. Now, we're looking at year groups, and we're also looking at the rank structure within a particular career field. So once those people are identified, and that doesn't mean we're losing all 1,000, but what we're going to do is we've sat down one-on-one with the supervisors and the commanders and described these programs to them so they have an educated decision to make, and they can make an educated decision on whether they want to get out voluntarily or they want to stay in the military. With that, once they are selected to leave the Air Force or to separate, we have a week-long transition course. And in that course, we're going to bring in that military member and also their family. And what we're going to do is give them a transition on how they can get back into the civilian sector and be a productive part of the community as well.